What's going on, guys, and welcome to another Blockchain Future. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you guys had a good day. So, Vitalik Buterin from Ethereum, the co-founder of Ethereum, is currently, or might have just be wrapping up, but the Asian Cryptocurrency Conference in Hong Kong. And he addressed something that I've been thinking about for a while, ever since it was brought up at DevCon 3 in Cancun in 2017. I was hearing about non-fungible tokens and how big they're going to be. And a lot of you may have heard of Crypto Kiddies, which was a little game, collectibles game that happened on the Ethereum blockchain and actually kind of backed up the chain, made it slow because of how many people were playing the game. But the whole idea behind non-fungible tokens is very interesting and has a very big use case in the future. So I thought I would go over what Vitalik was talking about and get into what exactly a non-fungible token is and what it will represent in the future for blockchain and the world. So you see here, non-fungible tokens on Ethereum will create a large-scale social impact, according to Vitalik Buterin. Vitalik Buterin, the prodigal Canadian-Russian cryptographer and co-founder of Ethereum, has addressed a full room at the Premium Asian Cryptocurrency Conference in Hong Kong. He talked about the state of the platform and outlined the goals of the Ethereum Foundation. The conference kick-started on the 13th of March 2019 in Hong Kong. A special section has been allocated to Ethereum and Litecoin, which will take place on the 13th and 14th of March 2019, respectively. There's some updates about Ethereum. I'll just go ahead and read this. A positive piece of news came for developers and investors as Buterin confirmed that Plasma is in the test phase. Moreover, he also confirmed that sharding adoption and announced the future implementation of Zcash's ZK Snark protocol to improve scalability on the Ethereum platform. So this is for increasing the speed transactions per second on Ethereum. Apart from the Ethereum 2.0 roadmap and goals, the other focus area of the foundation, according to Buterin, is dApps, decentralized dApps. He announced plans of large-scale onboarding of dApps on Brave and Opera browsers. Brave just went live with, I believe their beta is rewarding people in BAT tokens for watching ads on sites that are enabled for it. Furthermore, he also talked about an open source DeFi, decentralized finance system. You guys know I talk a lot about that, to promote the decentralization of our current financial system. In all probability, it will include a feasible decentralized open source exchange for cryptocurrencies and other assets. I don't know if this author knows that there's already multiple decentralized open source decentralized exchanges. Moving on, the point of this whole video. Emphasis on non-fungible tokens, NFTs. The end focus of Buterin was, however, NFT, non-fungible tokens, to create applications on a standard protocol to create a network sharing effect. NFTs can help entrepreneurs and small business owners to create large-scale social impacts. Currently, their focus is on building virtual applications like financial platforms and facilitating gaming communities. He expressed a lot of enthusiasm in favor of implementation of NFTs in the e-gaming industry. Quote, he said that gaming enriches the life of a lot of people. I don't know if that's a typo. It might be life, maybe. And it is a place where a lot of early adopters can be expected. The gaming community usually does a lot of stuff early. I mean, we've had virtual currency in games on PlayStation, Xbox, computer gaming for forever. He went on to implore the developers at the conference to focus on gaming dApps and NFTs where they have a good opportunity to create, quote, large-scale social impact. So you might be wondering, what exactly is a non-fungible token and what would it be used for? So I have that here, kind of explaining what it is and what they're used for. What does non-fungible mean? So starting out with basically the term. To fully appreciate what makes these tokens special, it's worth taking a look at the difference between fungible and non-fungible. When something is fungible, In this case, a token, it means it can be easily replaced by something identical, and it is interchangeable with ease. Real-world examples of something fungible could include grains of rice or the $1 banknote in your pocket. If you were to lend that $1 to someone, it wouldn't matter if they didn't return the exact same one. This all changes when something is non-fungible. Although two items may look to be identical at a glance, each will have unique information or attributes that make them irreplaceable or impossible to swap. One example of a non-fungible asset could be a plane ticket. Sure, they look the same as other tickets, but each one has different passenger names, destinations, departure times, and seat numbers. Exchanging yours with someone could have serious consequences. Not only could you end up thousands of miles away from where you wanted to be, airport security might not be too impressed either, I'm sure. Number 2, why are non-fungible tokens different from other tokens? Because they can offer unique characteristics which make them different and digitally scarce. Many tokens, and indeed cryptocurrencies, are fungible. If you send someone a Bitcoin and get one back, you wouldn't notice any difference. A lot of the time, fungible tokens are built using a standard called ERC20. For the sake of simplicity, let's imagine each of these tokens is a $10 bill. If you sent a token to someone and got another one back a week later, they could be identical. That said, there might be some fluctuation in price. This all changes with non-fungible tokens, many of which are ERC 721 compliant. These can be compared to baseball cards, as each has unique information and varying levels of rarity. If you were to accidentally send one of these tokens to someone and get a different ERC 721 token back, you might be very upset. There's one more crucial difference you need to bear in mind. Fungible tokens are divisible, meaning you can send a fraction of one ERC20 token, like cash, where you can pay with a $10 bill and get change. On the other hand, non-fungible tokens, ERC 721 tokens, cannot be divided and must be bought or sold whole, like baseball cards where no one in their right mind would want to buy half. I have seen that happen, which was when I was a kid. It was weird, though. Stupid kids. 3, what can non-fungible tokens be used for? Collectibles are a common use for non-fungible tokens. One early pioneer of non-fungible tokens was Kiddies, a blockchain-driven platform where players have the chance to collect and breed digital cats. If you've ever owned a cat, you'll know that they are not easy to replace, as their appearance and personality make them unique. In this case, CryptoKitties replicated this concept in the crypto world, with each cat's digital genetic material being stored on the blockchain. They can be bought and sold using Ethereum, and some are rarer than others. Indeed, as reported by Cointelegraph, sales hit 12 million last year, with the most expensive CryptoKitty reportedly going for $120,000. Wow. Other games have promptly followed, such as fantasy titles where fighters are collected for battles, and in other app development, almost like we planned for it, Major League Baseball in the US is planning to launch a game where baseball cards can be exchanged on blockchain. That sounds very cool. Number 4, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Although non-fungible ERC 721 token has offered improvements on ERC20, there are a few setbacks. As we recently explained in an article looking at alternatives to ERC20, advocates of this protocol believe it could become the ultimate vehicle for putting every significant asset on a public or hybrid blockchain with 100% immutability and security. Non-fungible tokens allow you to detail more of the attributes that make them special, far beyond the name, balance, token supply, and symbol. This is because you can include rich metadata about an asset and include information about ownership. And these authenticated details can ultimately add value because investors can be confident about its provenance. That said, there are downsides. Non-fungible tokens have not been embraced as speedily as some advocates hoped, in part because the ERC 721 protocol is so new. It can also be tricky and time-consuming to develop decentralized applications for non-fungible tokens properly. Well, that doesn't really sound like a huge downside. It just sounds normal for anything new in the tech world. But the upside sounds very the upside sounds very good, and the downside doesn't sound that bad. Number 5, so why not carry on using real world solutions? The world is moving on from paper, and supporters believe there are many use cases for non-fungible tokens beyond collectibles. For example, it could become a secure and immutable way of storing birth certificates, academic credentials, warranties, and identities, even artwork and property ownership. These real-world assets can then be properly digitized and stored in a wallet, keeping them safe and ensuring that they cannot be altered or counterfeited by a third party. So I want to take a break here, and I think this is probably the most important part of everything that I'm reading right now. So you can imagine in the future, currently right now, everybody's carrying around, they probably have their birth certificate on paper. It's really annoying if you lose it. Everybody has a social security card that's really annoying if you lose it. Pretty much anything that's data that you need to present can be moved in this format to a blockchain and be held securely, and can't be copied or counterfeited. So you can see why Vitalik is being very pro non-fungible tokens. He's being pro ERC 721 token, because looking beyond, a lot of people concentrate on money with cryptocurrency. It's just about money. Vitalik has always been somebody that's looked beyond that, and how we can move from the offline world and move everything to the online world. And non-fungible tokens are a big part of that. Being able to store something like birth certificates, academic credentials, warranties, and identities on a blockchain where you hold the private key, and the only way you can get to that data is by accessing a cold storage wallet, or the actual private key itself, is pretty big. I can see that being I could see, 5-10 years from now, this being a standard way of holding this type of data for people. It's kind of a halfway point, because people are very hesitant about storing stuff in the cloud, so to speak. But by holding it on a blockchain that's secured with private keys, it's a much more secure and immutable way of storing this data. All right, moving on to number 6, last one. But how are non-fungible tokens created? There are concerns that the use of non-fungible tokens could end up becoming fragmented with different standards and varying degrees of certification. At the moment, as we've mentioned a little earlier, it can be an expensive and complicated thing to achieve. It can sometimes take months to develop a dApp, and in the fast-moving blockchain world, it could cost an entrepreneur their competitive advantage. Instead of every outlet interested in non-fungible tokens creating their own framework, which would result in a breeding ground for inconsistency, some platforms are trying to create a technological layer which unifies and standardizes these tokens. One of them is 0xCert, which offers a plug-and-play framework, which means that a non-fungible token can be developed and verified quicker, and the platform claims it is achievable in days. The company says it eliminates the need for an in-depth blockchain knowledge while stopping precious data from being siloed and preventing developers from having a lengthy, expensive, insecure process. So, this is created by this article is by 0xCert. So obviously they're pushing their product. I personally believe that Ethereum is being an open source platform. It is and being the leader in the decentralized computing space, the dApp smart contract space. I do believe that the ERC 721 token would be a great standard for the whole world to use, especially as we saw in this other article. Ethereum is moving towards It's moving towards solving their scalability issues by increasing the transactions per second that it can achieve. Has Plasma, which is a side chain, just like Lightning on the Bitcoin network, to to help move some of the traffic off chain. But I think Ethereum is going to be the standard for the stuff moving forward. Now, what they're saying here about having another layer to help kind of bring together maybe other chains like EOS, Cardano, Tron, some of these other smart contract platforms. If we're going to see some of this stuff on multiple chains, it would be a good idea to have some sort of unifying layer to easily read this data. But I am a little bit biased towards Ethereum. I think that they've been doing a great job, and they are a leader for a reason. They are currently the number 2 cryptocurrency with the second highest market cap for a reason. So I'll have the link to both of these 2 articles in the description. If you guys have any questions, let me know below. And have a great day. Thank you.